session for engineered clarity in partnering with CPAs. And so when we look at the model, it's a pretty simple model. Like, we're unclear on something. Maybe we're unclear as it relates to partnering with CPAs, or maybe as a CPA, I have all of these business clients. I mean, can I partner with them? Like, or can't I? Like, I don't want to mess up my current business. And so how do I do that appropriately? We do it through questions. And then we listen very, very deeply. And when we ask the right questions and listen carefully, we start to see things that we've never seen before. We see the intention of our clients, and they see our intentions. And then as we start to see their intentions and our intentions, we start to think differently, which gives us additional capabilities, capacity. And then when we learn to internalize things and help those others to internalize as well, then we move into the do. And that produces the desired results. So it's a pretty simple, model. Jorge, Ski, Ginger Ann, Don, any thoughts that any of you have before we open it up to others?
I was, I don't know if this is directly relating to what you had just been talking about there, but one of the things that was really heavy on my mind as we were going through the earlier session in regards to CPAs, and I think it really fits in with just about any profession, but it would be different for each profession. But generally, people that are in a profession tend to have this a similar thought process. For example, CPAs tend to be very analytical in nature, and so they will all congregate together. You'll have a whole bunch of CPAs in the room that are thinking the same way. But if you're trying to build a business and you have a boardroom that has all, cube number one high analytics, and you don't have any expressives, you don't have any drivers, you don't have any amiables in the room having a voice at the table, you're going to miss out on three-quarters of your potential market share, and you're not going to be out there doing sales and marketing because somebody that's an analytic is not into sales and marketing. So you pass up all sorts of opportunities there. Anyways, I just think it's important that we understand that there are those four distinct areas, thought processes, and we need to be open to all four of them.
See, and this is where I loved what Ski said, even during tax season, like we have 10,080 minutes in a week. I mean, if we took 60 minutes out of 10,080, we still have 10,020 left. We have an abundance of time even during tax season. And I think this is where my experience with CPAs, they get into tax season and it's totally focused, and there's inefficiencies that are happening. But they're not addressing those instances. They're not getting down to the core of why that is. And so they're losing not 60 minutes a week. They're losing 5, 10, 20 hours or hundreds of hours as a firm because certain things are missing. So the disciplines of saying, I'm going to do this even during tax season. Plus, it's almost like after tax season, then you have to, you've worked so hard during tax season that I need to take a little bit of a break. And so there's a little bit of a break. And then all of a sudden there's another deadline. And then
because if everybody is thinking the same way, you don't have anybody in the room forcing them outside of their comfort zone, and everybody's comfort zone is just to do more taxes.
Right. Ski, Ginger Ann, Jorge, any thoughts that any of you have?
As a CPA, I would like to say, we normally think about taxes on April 15th. But there are other areas of specialization than auditing or financial services or management, etc. But it applies the same. We tend to be very numbers-oriented, and then 30 minutes out of the week, and I'm saying for myself at the beginning, appear to be like a waste of time if you're going to be talking about personalities or marketing or or what you're in the mood for this morning or something like that, then but understanding that mind frame really helps me to refocus my energy this week. It's like a plane that is 1 or 2% off the target. The longer you take to correct it, the far away you are, more or farther away from the target or your destination.
I like that. When we look at the second piece, listening, most of us think we're good listeners, but maybe not so much. We're working with a client, unbelievable, accounting firm in Key West. Great. The owner is just amazing, and she's got some amazing team members too. But boy, are they having a hard time, communicating, learning how to communicate differently and being able to go through it. So when we listen to the 4 different personality types, we learn to listen, to see, think, and do in a very different way, listening so deeply that we actually apply what's called insight selling. And people are amazed at what we share as they internalize all that we're sharing. And so if somebody says as a CPA, if one of our clients says, that's an amazing question, that's a great question, that individual, you're taking them right outside their comfort zone. Like they think you're brilliant because you ask a certain type of question. And so listening, we often are so busy in our minds that we don't listen so well. Ski, Ginger Ann, go ahead. Don.
I was just going to say, on this is Ski, I just was going to say that the listening piece is so important, but I'm discovering after talking to some people, and this guy I was talking to today mentioned that he'll be on a webinar, and he's actually doing something else. He's doing other things. And instead of being present and trying to extract as much as he can from that, he's trying to double task. And I think most people know that the studies have shown that you really don't get anything out of double tasking. You actually probably lose a lot. So if he's spending that time in trying to answer emails while he's trying to listen to whatever's going on, like again, these sessions, I'm sure there are people, and I've done it myself, where you check your email or something like that. Well, you're losing something in there. Somebody says something, or you're seeing there's something on the screen that you're meant to see that you're not seeing or hearing. And I think that's paying attention to that, being intentional about being present when you're going through something like this session right now.
Cool. And for others that are on live, you can feel free, if you have a question, chime in. You're not being rude. Like, we can't see if you're raising your hand and saying, I want to talk. Like, we can't see that. So just jump in. It's fine. When we look at seeing, when we learn to see, to identify somebody's personality in 17 seconds, we're able to see things from many different personality types. As we ask amazing questions, which creates insights, and we see as our clients see, we show that our true intentions, what our true intentions are, of placing the care of our clients above our own business. Now, that's just good for business. So when we're asking questions, listening, and seeing things, it reveals our intentions. Often, as analytic, we're tentative, and that creates a distrust. Like, people think, they're not confident in what they're saying. Or if we talk a lot and explain ourselves, often we're confident, but we're not communicating confidence. And so often, even though we're CPAs, often we can be mistrusted and not even realize and say, I've got some input that could double your bottom line profit, and it's not through taxes, and it's not through accounting strategy. It's from some other aspect of the business. All right. Any questions before we move to the thinking side? Thoughts, questions?
Hi, Mark. It's Murray.
Yeah.
I agree with Jorge. We are not people that are very prone to do marketing or do.
So Murray is a CPA out of the Philly area.
Correct.
Sorry, go ahead.
We try to put numbers on everything, including marketing, which is really a mistake. So there's a problem there. And it's one of the things that we don't do well, because that's one of the things they don't try to teach you in college, that part of your job is marketing, and marketing in college, at least back in the day when I did it, was geared towards a major and not towards just personal marketing of yourself or your own businesses. And that's part of our problem, I think. And when we try to get involved with those groups that you were talking about earlier, usually you get in trouble if you miss too many meetings. And I've had that problem before, where because of my schedule, I've got meetings I have to attend, or continuing education or something, and I can't make those type of meetings. You get kicked out of the group quickly because you can't make the meetings every single week at a specific time. Our schedules, and particularly when you get higher up in the organization and you've got people under you that depend on you being there to supervise them, it can be difficult for you to do things like that.
So what I would recommend is going to the 5 time management freedom fighters, and that's delegate, systematize, contract out, hire someone, or partner with someone. And so there's, in some of the mastermind groups and then some of the one-on-one coaching, there's programs to teach you how you can participate or you can gain benefit from going to an event that you never went to. So you can actually get a partner to go in your place. So if you're not able to be there, they could say, hey, Murray's, had this, had something else, but he asked me to participate, and he had this question, or he wanted to bring this, or he wanted to refer this person. So there's ways that a CPA can learn how to clone themselves, but it does require a very different way of thinking. Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes sense, but it depends on your situation. Like in my prior situation, my old coworkers would never allow me to do something like that.
So if you can get to a CPA prior to partnering up maybe with the wrong people, you never get yourself into those situations. Or if you get all of your partners to get on the same page together to see how it's mutually beneficial. So yes, we as business owners, we as CPAs often get ourselves into situations where it doesn't work. But it doesn't work not because it doesn't work. It doesn't work because we made poor choices. And once we make those poor choices, well, it can be hard to get out of. Not impossible. It takes more work, but it can be hard to get out of them. Good point. Other thoughts, Murray?
Well, I'm just starting in this group. It seems like it's one of these things where you're only going to get as much as you put into it, and it all depends on how much. Like I don't have the luxury of somebody being able to delegate to anybody because it's just me.
So again, on that particular piece, often, how do I say this delicately? Often CPAs steal from their own company time and money. So they do something that makes them more money or saves them time, and then they take time off, which again is not necessarily wrong. But if you were to take that extra time and invest it into the right system, or take that money and invest it into the right system, well, then you would have more time and more money. So the key is is to be able to understand the difference in time. So 9 years ago, through the help of Tom Coons, he and I co-authored the book, Community Business Partnerships. Tom helped raise over $100 million for Easter seals. So 9 years ago, discovered the secret about time, and it's how to think about time in a different way. And so I have an extra 20 hours of free time a week, and I take off 1 week every month. And it's how I think differently. And so most business owners, most CPAs think about time and money very differently. So if you're a CPA or a business owner and you invest $10,000, what do you expect back? $10,000 plus a return on investment. Now, if we do that successfully, we'll have an abundance of money. If we don't, if we invest and we don't get a return, well, then obviously we're not going to have an abundance of money. But most CPAs and most business owners view time differently in that when I invest 10 hours as a CPA or a business owner, I expect money. Well, that's no different than an employee. And whenever we, as quote-unquote business owners, exchange time for money, we always run out of time. So what I learned 9 years ago is I learned when I invest 3 hours into something, I get 9 hours back. When I invest an hour, like this time today is not costing me an hour. I'm going to go ahead and get 3, 4, 5, 10 hours or 100 hours back from this 1 hour investment. And so again, it's learning to think differently about time and about people. And when we learn to think differently, all of a sudden we have an abundance of time and money. Cool. Anyone else have any? And this is what gives us. This is on the screen. Engineered clarity. Thinking differently 9 years ago. So I have 7 children. I'm an international speaker and author. I've written 16 books, over 70 white papers. 7 kids, 3 boys, 4 girls, 4 teenagers at the same time. Now we have 5 grandkids. All the kids are out of the home living on their own. And so at one point, I was working 80, 90, even 110 hours a week on my business. So I've been there and I never missed one of the kids' baseball games. One summer, we had all 7 of the kids, let me tell you, in baseball or softball, and I never missed one of their games. And so, but after I learned to think differently about time, it just blew my mind. So there's a 30-day challenge I'd encourage you all to go through, and I would encourage CPAs. There's no cost to go through the 30-day challenge. It's through Life Masteries Institute and Legacy Partners. They're a nonprofit organization. They give so much away. It's absolutely amazing. And so there's no cost to it. So you could go ahead and invite all of your clients to go through the 30-day challenge with you. Let me tell you, you help, as a CPA, you help your clients learn how to gain additional time. They'll be in love with you like you can't believe. If you want to partner with a CPA and you help a CPA gain more time, they're going to fall in love with you. They just will. So time is the biggest challenge that business owners have. Matter of fact, when you say, what would you say the biggest challenge? Over 30% of the people's responses will come back in time. So we have to learn to think differently, which then gives us additional capability. And then we move into the do. As we learn to question, listen, see, and think, our natural response is then to do. To take action in ways like Don was talking, that's the challenge people have. They don't take action. They talk about it, pontificate, theorize, and they don't take action, and then they wonder why something doesn't work. Well, it's because they're not doing. The entire engineered clarity process helps us and those around us to internalize, which builds trust, lifelong profitable partnerships. So it's really really cool, and it's very, very powerful. Anyone else have any other thoughts before we finish up today?
Hi, this is Coco. Can you hear me?
We can, Coco.
Okay, well, yes, I wanted to say, talking about the time, I remember like 22 years ago when we started our business, At that moment when I was doing training in QuickBooks, I remember that I said this is not correct to charge per hour. We should be charging per value, and we should be charging a monthly fee. And I remember at that time nobody was thinking that, and I was like crazy. And I said, no. And my point is, don't let the negative influence of the world to do something that in the future, 22 years later, and now everybody charging, a monthly fee. And we need to change instead of the time is what is the value that I want to give a customer. In that way, I'm able to charge, an hour, really charge my experience.
Yeah, see,
the
Coco,
problem is,
go ahead.
Coco, is that depending on where you are, you always have people that will undercut you just to get the business.
So in that, Murray, it's learning to think differently. And so if I'm charging hourly, there's no incentive for me to become more efficient, because if I get more efficient, I make less money. But if I'm charging about, if I'm charging about if I'm looking at efficiencies in systems, then what I'm able to do is I'm able to go ahead and put systems in place. And so, Coco, just absolutely awesome that you're 22 years ahead of what the entire accounting industry is. And we often do tend to we tend to hunt in packs. We kind of, as CPAs, and we tend to go ahead and kind of do what everybody else is doing. And so how do you go ahead and become an outlier? How do you go ahead and see those things and then drive those things forward? Congratulations, Coco. That is absolutely awesome. Good work on that. Anyone else have anything else that you want to cover before we go ahead and finish up today?
I just wanted to jump in. I don't really have anything to cover, but it's been great to sit and listen to the discussion. The CPAs has been, that industry has been mentioned a lot, but I think a lot of this just applies to anybody, any business owner, and how to take action and how to kind of get over fears. So I just appreciated joining everybody.
Cool. See, and this is where, if you're a CPA, how valuable would it be to have your customers, have your clients join in this type of a conversation? And so inviting them to the next one, there's also an event, a webinar called It's a Duck, and it's Marvelous Marketing, and it's how do you generate more and better leads. So through Legacy Partners, through Life Masteries Institute, they have so many different programs and things, like 97%, because they're a nonprofit organization, 97% of what they do is free. It's unbelievable. So you can trust them to not, be selling something to your customers. They have a whole library of free white papers. They have libraries of free videos. They just have a whole bunch of different things that they're able to do. So as we help as CPAs, as we help our clients to grow their business, our business grows, their business grows, together we can truly accomplish so much more than we ever could on our own. As business owners, we know a lot of people. So this applies, and when we learn to partner together, so this is something that can benefit, as Teresa said, every single industry, every single business. So who do I know that the next time, this comes around, it's once a month, and the live sessions, and then you can go on and listen to the rebroadcast and share it with other people. And so who can I share this with? Who can I partner with? Who can I start a coffee connection with? So if you have any questions on anything that we covered today, feel free to connect with the individual who invited you to participate in today's session, or you can call toll-free 888-230-2300. That's 888-230-2300. Or if you're calling in outside the U.S., you can call the U.S.-based number at 630-393-9909. That's 630-393-9909. And always remember, we can accomplish so much more together than we ever could on our own. God bless and have an amazing day. Bye-bye.